Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time for the Flawed one. Very nice guy. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, whether it be a topic, reaction, ranking list, commentary, review, re-review, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box under the video. Now, he wanted me to react to his choice for his top 30 favorite films of the 1990s. Now, I've always maintained that the 90s was a completely underrated decade. People, rightfully so, give credit to the 80s, but I think the 90s, there was a time where it got a bad rap. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, yeah, you just say because I grew up in the 90s. I was born in the 80s, but by the time I really got to know about movies was in the 90s. And, I looked at the 30 he chose. There's a lot of good choices, and even more that's down the list. But, okay, you look at his number 30, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Fun comedy. Love that film. It would definitely be in my, I don't know if it'd be top 10, but definitely top 20 favorite comedies. The first it is my favorite Jim Carrey film. Because Ace Ventura, he just had really a lot of energy. That was an idea that could work very poorly. It could be like a Rob Schneider. I mean, think about it. You have a pet detective. That's like why people like Rob Schneider try to do stuff like The Hot Chick and The Animal. Because it's a weird idea like Pet Detective, but that was a breakout hit for Jim Carrey. So maybe like The Zookeeper could be that way for Kevin James. And that's why these comedians do these weird things. But the thing is, Jim Carrey had that spark of, yes, it was a silly idea, but the director worked with Jim and just let that spark shine. So he gave a performance that it didn't seem it was like beneath him. And it was a character that was actually smarter than people give credit for. That's the thing with a lot of these guys, like when they do The Animal or The Zookeeper, the characters are very dumb. Ace Ventura is not a dumb guy. He's actually rather smart. He's actually a really good detective. He's actually very capable, almost supernatural, catch a bull with his teeth, but he's actually a good detective. That's kind of the charm, is that despite his craziness, despite his off-kilter personality, he's actually rather good at his job. Not just finding pets, but actually being a detective. And I mean, there's so many funny moments in that from the beginning. Warning, assholes are maybe closer than they appear. Alrighty then. When he's doing the thing, I have exorcised the demons. This house is clear. Loser, loser, loser. I think the crying game song being used the way it was is still funny. Oh, is that politically correct? I don't give a fuck. It was still rather funny. I like the sequel, When Nature Calls, but Pet Detective, I think because it takes place in the city, that's just a location that's just more to my liking in a weird way. And the fact that he's looking for, like, the whole football scheme with Ray Finkel and Laces Out. I always, that really psycho, almost like horror film feel when he's looking at the projector. No good, no good. I always thought there was a pretty well-directed scene. I liked Ace Ventura: Pet Detective quite a bit. I can't go on too long because it's 30 movies. If I went in for 5 minutes, it'd be like a 2-hour video. Number 29, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Love that film. I think I saw it in the theater when I was a kid. I believe so. But, I mean, Bruce Willis paired up with Sam Jackson. It was a great team. Why do you keep calling me DeJesus? Do I look Puerto Rican to you? He said, no. Zeus, As in Father Apollo, as in I'll shove a lightning bolt up your ass. Zeus, do you hear me? You don't like me because I'm black. No, I don't like you because you don't get me. No. I'm trying to... No, the line is, no, you don't like me. Have I oppressed you, Zeus? You don't like me because I'm white. No, I don't like you because you don't get me killed. And you have a great villain related to Gruber, Hans Gruber. Here you have Simon, Jeremy Irons. Jeremy Irons, good actor, did a wonderful job. Excellent action scenes directed by John McTiernan. It's great that he came back to the Die Hard franchise. Most would say the last great Die Hard film. I still rather like Die Hard 4, but Die Hard with a Vengeance is a... I would say the first Die Hard is still my favorite, but Die Hard with a Vengeance is a close second. It's a close second. I love the aspect of having to be led around from A to B to C around the city. They definitely had the budget with all these bombs going around, and some people don't like the finale. I actually rather like the finale. This is a good roller coaster. I'm like, man, what's going to happen next? It felt epic. It's like John McClane versus a helicopter. And before that, they're on a ship. They got to get off the ship before it explodes. And before that, you had John McClane in the aqueduct. John McClane fighting people in an elevator. It's like this, almost like a video game. You survived the next wave. It's like, damn, like John McClane is having one hell of a day. And that's the thing with sequels, you got to try to one-up the next one. Or one-up the previous one, I should say. But Die Hard with a Vengeance is a classic. Number 28, The Dark Half. George Romero film. I liked it. It's not a favorite of mine. But I don't mind it. It's been a while since I've seen it. I think I did review it. And like I said, I remember not minding the film. I mean, my favorite George Romero is more Dawn of the Dead and Monty Shines, Day of the Dead. But I do remember liking The Dark Half, but at the same time, it's been a while since I've seen it. I've only seen it once or twice, so I wouldn't be able to give a great value of an opinion on it. It wouldn't be in my top 30, but then it's why everyone else has their list for their own preferences. 27, Airheads. I wish Airheads would get a... maybe it had a Blu-ray, but it's out of print. I wish it would... Or was it the DVD that was out of print? I'm not sure if Airheads got a Blu-ray, now that I think about it. But they had Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler, and it's crazy when you look at the cast, even for cameos. Like, there's Harold Ramis, there's Ernie Hudson, there's Chris Farley. I mean, David Arquette. Even that Beavis and Butthead cameo as a call-in voice, or voices. These three guys take over a radio station because they want their songs to be listened to, and then they get way in over their head. It was cool to see Steve Buscemi play a different type of role in a comedy like that. Early role for Adam Sandler before doing Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, things of that nature. Brendan Fraser, he could do comedy just as well as serious stuff like The Mummy. But, yeah, always been a Brendan Fraser fan. Airhead's very fun comedy. Number 26, Home Alone, classic. 25, Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze. I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm very partial to it. That would probably be with the first one. First Ninja Turtles in my top 5 for the 90s. I love those films. To me, they're two great sides of the same coin. One's a bit more darker and serious, one's a bit more goofy and silly, but they still got really good, solid effects by Jim Henson's company. For the most part, wonderful voice work. Turtles actually doing martial arts, unlike the Michael Bay Super Chud, Mongoloid bullshit, where they're bulletproof and blah 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 blah. Yes, Secret of the Ooze, there are issues with the plot. You never get a Secret of the Ooze because they took out the fucking story that Professor Perry was going to be this Utron, this alien. They should not have taken that out. They should have kept it in. And I think it would have been even more memorable of a sequel. But as is, I thought the Turtles worked really well together. Out of all the movies, that's the most I felt them as a unit. That's not most endearing, I would say, 1990 with the campfire scene, Leo hugging Raphael in the bathtub. But again, the way they interact with each other, they play around with each other, it's the one, out of all the movies, that's the one I felt the most of all of them as a family. They goof on each other, they pick on each other. And yeah, I always loved Secret of the Ooze. So, good choice. Number 24, Dr. Doodles. Fun film, fun slasher. It does seem like some of the gore was a bit diluted. There's some creative kills, but it seemed like the film should have been more... there's one scene in particular that's gory, where it's a flashback where Dr. Doodles is a kid, and the Flawed one knows what I'm talking about. For those who haven't seen it, I won't spoil it. But other than that, I mean, there are creative kills. Larry Drake is the lead. He was the villain in Darkman. He's the lead villain in this. He's a lot of fun. May he rest in peace. But it does seem like some of the... maybe there was gore taken out. But I've never heard of an unrated version, so it's too bad. But it's still a fun movie. Entertaining slasher film. 23 Misery, I reviewed that a month or two ago. Classic film, Rob Reiner, Kathy Bates won the Oscar. She deserved it. 22, Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Wonderful choice, classic, love that film. That would probably be in my top 30 favorite 90s films, as well as like Die with a Vengeance and the Turtles films. You think this is real quiet? It is. I have 5 kids to feed. Hey, you got mutant women with 3 titties. You got over-the-top gore, like when Arnold takes the guy, the dead body, and becomes a human meat shield for him. Great score by Jerry Goldsmith. Intense direction by Paul Verhoeven. This is after RoboCop. Total Recall is a classic. Definitely one of Arnold's best movies. Fuck the remake. 21 From Dusk Till Dawn. My favorite vampire film, along with the original Fright Night. Love the movie. Love the misdirection of a bank robbery film turned into a vampire film. Yeah, cast that includes Fred Williamson and Tom Savini and Harvey Keitel. George Clooney, to this day, I think is still his best role as Seth Gecko. Just a total badass. Good anti-hero. He's a bad guy, but these vampires are worse. And George Clooney's just a lot of fun. I mean, I still remember the thing at the end when he sees Cheech Marin, one of his like 4 or 5 roles in the film. Were they psychos? And George Clooney's like, do they look like psychos? Psychos do not explode when sunlight hits them. I don't give a fuck how crazy they are. It's funny, it's gory, it's action-packed. I love From Dusk Till Dawn. Just a lot of high-octane energy in that film. That's 21. 20, The Sandlot. You're killing me, Smalls, you're killing me. Good kids movie, but a kids film that doesn't have to make you cringe to watch as an older person. Well, of course it's bad. I've heard that. Well, of course this movie's bad. It's a kids film. The Goonies is a kids film. Ninja Turtles, you say, are kids films. The Sandlot is a kids film. But it's still a good film. So don't give me that, it's a kids film, of course it'll be bad. Don't give me that horse shit. But The Sandlot's a good choice. 19, Night of the Living Dead, 1990. I actually liked it more than the original. Because I liked the... what's her name? Barbara. But Patricia Tolman. I thought Patricia Tallman was a lot better Barbara. Well, she's just like Ripley. I'm fine with that. That's what I prefer. It all comes down to preference. The Barbara in the original, I get it. People get scared, but doing that, and it annoyed. I still know it's a movie. I still have that separation, so she just annoyed the piss out of me in the original. But the remake, I liked that she was, well, you just walk through them. Let's just do this. And I'm like, she was thinking the same thing I was thinking. And Tony Todd does a great job as Ben. I like the ending's still sad, but the ending I would rather watch because what Patricia Tallman does to that asshole that deserves it, and you see through Patricia Tallman's eyes what's going on. I would like the music at the end credits. That was kind of creepy music at the end. So to me, you still got the feel of it, but at least with Patricia Tallman's character, there's a little bit of hope. And it's more tragic because they shot Ben because he turned to a zombie. So just that's more the tragedy. So I like the way that played out in that finale more than the original. So I like the Night of the Living Dead remake. Could be a gorier movie, to be fair, but for what it is, I liked it. Number 18, Batman Forever. That's a film I feel is meh. I know a lot of people love it to death. I like the first two Batmans more. I don't hate it. It's not like as bad as Batman and Robin. It's not a good soundtrack. Jim Carrey is doing what he can. Val Kilmer, he's better than George Clooney, but there's moments he works. Nicole Kidman pretty much plays a slut that calls herself a psychiatrist, but she's a slut. Batman Forever is watchable compared to Batman and Robin. Like Batman Forever I could watch. It's just not a film I love. It is rather corny. See, that's a film that people you could call cheesy. It makes sense. But it wouldn't be on my list, but I can see why it's on a lot of people's list. 17, Reservoir Dogs. Not my favorite Tarantino film, but still good script. Well-written dialogue. Good cast. Harvey Keitel, Steve Buscemi, Michael Madsen. Stuck in the middle with you. Good choice. 16, Stay Tuned. Wonderful to see that on the list. I love Stay Tuned. John Ritter film. Very underrated. For those who don't know, it's a movie about what if the devil gave you the ultimate cable TV, satellite TV, but then you get pulled into it, and now you and your wife on this desperate journey to escape hell, going through all these hellish versions of TV, game shows, TV shows, survival shows, cartoons, Northern Overexposure, Driving Over Miss Daisy, like all these various movies, shows, all this stuff that have this hellish Dwayne's Underworld instead of Wayne's World. I thought that was very creative. I thought it was an entertaining adventure. I thought John Ritter, it was great to see him as the lead. I miss John Ritter. Jeffrey Jones is the villain, but he is playing the devil. I'm like, well, that fits because he's a piece of shit. Because, for those who don't know, Jeffrey Jones is a pedophile. Because he had the P to the E to the D to the O of magazines of little kids, and he's a sit fuck, and he deserves to burn in hell, and at least in Stay Tuned, he is the devil. So, it fits. But yeah, love Stay Tuned. Underrated film, directed by Peter Hyams, who did Time Cop, 2010, Narrow Margin, The Relic. Number 15, Billy Madison. Good movie. Funny film. Definitely one of my favorite Adam Sandler films. I would say I'm more of a Happy Gilmore guy. That's my favorite. So I would probably put that on the list over Billy Madison. But Billy Madison is still a lot of fun. Once again, it's a silly idea But Adam Sandler at that time had a lot of energy to burn off, and with that and Happy Gilmore, that helped him in his career to get bigger films like The Wedding Singer and Big Daddy, and then became a box office guy for quite a few years. Not so much nowadays if he does a film it's for Netflix, but Billy Madison's a lot of fun. It was great to see Chris Farley in there, Norm Macdonald, may both of them rest in peace. Fun film. 14 Noises Off. I haven't seen that film. I think that's the only film on this list I haven't seen, so I can't say anything about it. 13 Mallrats. When Kevin Smith was worth the shit. Mallrats was actually the first Kevin Smith film I saw, because I got the VHS. My brother's girlfriend at the time, she was really into Kevin Smith. So I would like overhear gifts. I'm like, Mallrats? What the hell is Mallrats? Gifts that were going to be given to her. And then the next time was in a store, saw a VHS, I'm like, Mallrats, okay. And this is going to sound stupid, but the appeal at first was, wow, I get to see inside a mall. Because where I live, there's no fucking actual malls. There's one or two that are called malls, but had like 3 stores. But it's like, wow, I could live vicariously through these characters of going through a mall. Live vicariously, they get to do what I can't do. Because there's none around where I lived. But then it's like, wow, there's comic books, and there's Stan Lee, and wow, someone's playing video games. There's the superficial stuff that I can relate to. And then enjoying the performances, like Jason Lee, I think did a great job. Jay and Silent Bob. It was goofy, it was silly, but it was rather entertaining. Mallrats is still a fun film. Number 12, Dazed and Confused. That one I'm a bit lukewarm on. I did review the film. I didn't hate the film, but I would say I don't love it as much as other people. And I don't remember why that is. That's my initial feeling when I saw it. And I did review the film. I forgot what I said about it, honestly. And yeah, I don't hate the film. It just, compared to a lot of these other choices, that's kind of what I'm a bit lukewarm on. But I know it would be on a lot of other people's list. Apparently my stomach disagreed with me. I know. I always do this. And then I get something to eat. If you didn't hear it, my stomach went... So my stomach didn't like that. I'm sorry, stomach. I think the film is... There's other films I like more. Number 10, Mortal Kombat. Love the film from 1995. Wonderful cast. Other than the gore, it did the game justice very, very well. And good fight scenes, well choreographed, awesome soundtrack, likable characters, especially Johnny Cage and Liu Kang. I mean, Christopher Lambert as Raiden. He was very entertaining to watch. He was having a lot of fun. He was having a ball. Love Mortal Kombat. Number 9, City Slickers. Wonderful choice. City Slickers definitely in my... I don't know if it'd be top 10, but definitely top 20 favorite comedies. I love the film. I think it's even more relatable today than when I was a kid, because you have someone that goes through a midlife crisis and is kind of lost, doesn't know where he belongs, where he fits in. Go and find your smile. And like, there's a bit of merit to it, where maybe if he doesn't find this, maybe something will happen with his marriage. He doesn't know. City Slicker with his friends, his buddies, and they go on this adventure where they learn a bit more about themselves, about each other, but it's also rather funny. It melds heartwarming stuff, touching moments with comedy fairly well. You actually go from Bruno Kirby talking about the best day of his life is standing up to his dad saying, "You cheat on her, you cheat on my mom again, you're no good, I'll take care of her." More so, the guy left, and then the other two friends were, "What was your worst day?" "Same day." And then he goes off. Or Daniel Stern about his life falling apart. But then it works with the comedy, especially when Jack Palance. You tell anyone today, Curly? Day ain't over yet. One thing. Your finger? No. There's one thing. When you find that, nothing else means shit. Well, what's the one thing? That's for you to figure out. And it's directed by Ron Underwood, who did Tremors. So the guy definitely knows how to work different genres together. In this case, Western, comedy, and also being a heartfelt movie too. And I would say it's my favorite Billy Crystal film. Love City Slickers. So, I mean, that would definitely be on my list of top 30 for the 90s. 8 Demon Knight, good choice. Fun, creative, Tales from the Crypt horror film. Got some good gore. Likeable cast. William Sadler. Billy Zane's have a lot of fun as the villain. Demon Knight, if you like creature feature horror films, that's definitely worth a look. 7 Child's Play 2. Very worthy sequel. Especially love the finale and the Doll Factory. Andy Barclay, that character comes back again, once again played by Alex Vincent. Does a good job. I like Disney would call his stepsister, Kyle. I thought she was a likable character. I thought they really improved on the effects compared to the first one, because now they know they have a little bit more experience. So Chucky, the way the animatronic worked, very well done in that. Number 6, Pulp Fiction. I mean, that's a classic. Nothing more can be said about it. Love Pulp Fiction. 5, Tombstone. Damn good Western. I would probably say that's in my top 5 Westerns. My personal favorite is Young Guns, but Tombstone would be in my top 5. Probably the others would be, I know High Plains Drifter would be on there. For a Few Dollars More would be on there. They Call Me Trinity, that would be on there, because I do like that one. I had to think about the other. But yeah, Tombstone, I mean, you got Kurt Russell, you got Bill Paxton, you got Val Kilmer, you got Michael Biehn, you got, again, a great cast. Powers Booth, I mean, it's a badass movie. No matter who directed, whether it was George Cosmatos, whether it was Kurt Russell, Sam Elliott, I mean, just the cast works well. The pacing was a lot better than Wyatt Earp, which was the other Western that came out that time with Kevin Costner. Like, this one was better paced. And, good movie. 4, Scream. One more to be said. I do like Scream. I remember seeing that the first time on VHS and thinking, oh, this is kind of a fun murder mystery. But also very clever and has a good script to it. Likeable cast. Yes, I know Scream 5 came out. Yes, I've already been told spoilers about it. I won't spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but I'll just say, seemed like I got some of that trailer reaction right. So, wasn't surprised. Number 3, The Crow. Rest in peace, Brandon Lee. Good choice. Can't you? It's sad that was the film that took Brandon Lee away from us, but it is a well-made film. Fantastic soundtrack. Cool visual aesthetic. Number 2, the 1990 Ninja Turtles film, personal favorite of mine. It's got a good heart to it. Effects, I think, utilizes budget rather well. Loved the 1999 Ninja Turtles film. And his favorite 90s movie is Clerks. I did another good choice. That would be my top 10 favorite comedies. I love Clerks. It's my favorite Kevin Smith film. Yeah, Kevin Smith might be full of shit nowadays, but back then, this is one the Kevin Smith that didn't give a shit. He wasn't full of shit. He didn't give a shit. As in, he didn't give a shit if people liked it or not. He did his own thing. Now he cares and he loves everything and cries at every trailer. It's fine if you cry at one trailer, but when you cry at every trailer, whatever. But this is before he was crying at trailers. This is when he actually wrote good, funny scripts where he made relatable characters. Not fucking yoga hosers with killer bratwurst. Or I'm gonna make a weird movie about a guy that just turned to a fucking walrus. No, it was two people who worked. I'm not even supposed to be here today. And you relate to the job market, how it is at the job, dealing with customers, and just biting humor. Just still very funny. And very gun-ho in its humor and its language. Didn't hold back on it. Felt fresh the way it looked, how the black and white. I love Clerks. I could watch that today and laugh my ass off. So, I think it's a good list. I mean, on my list, I would put stuff like Demolition Man, Cliffhanger, Speed, The Big Lebowski, Tremors, Predator. I would Predator 2, Jacob's Ladder, Hard Boiled, The Shawshank Redemption. But yeah, definitely Speed, Broken Arrow, Hard Target. But again, that'd be my list. But again, this is a pretty damn good list. A lot of these I can't disagree with. So, thank you for that. Thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.